Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video on my channel, the Hyrule account. Today we're going to be doing another video on Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, and we're going to be doing some fun speculation on our new mystery villain character, which can be seen in the Untold Chronicles from 100 years ago trailer number 2. And this guy appears to, for one, well, that being said, we aren't really sure of its gender. Could be a guy, could be a girl, but we know they are involved with the Yiga in some way, and given the fact that they are being put in this game at all, they're definitely connected to Calamity Ganon in some way or another, or they wouldn't have included this new original villain. And I'm really excited to find out who this is, and I have about 7 options that we're going to go over, the most popular ones you'll see online, and I'll talk about which ones are the most likely. So that being said guys, let's get right into this video. So basically, lately Nintendo has been dropping a lot of information on this game, which is super exciting, and as I was making this video, they actually had, Nintendo Korea had actually accidentally updated their sites to reveal that there will be a Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity demo, likely at some point, maybe this week, according to Kelios, who is a pretty well-known leaker. And this is super exciting to me for a few reasons, because obviously I'm going to play it. I'm going to love to just be able to try it out, see how different it feels, see how it looks compared to the original Hyrule Warriors, but also there are many Zelda fans who are on the fence about trying this game because it is a Warriors game. This now gives them the ability to try it out and decide if they like it, and hopefully they will. If they're going to put a demo out, I'm sure they have a pretty strong feeling it will attract more people. And also, according to the leaked article from Nintendo Korea, it was deleted since then by the way, it will feature save data transfer. So this is really good news. Could drop as soon as tomorrow. I'm not sure how early they put the news, but I believe it was dated the 28th, so give or take, should happen this week. Who knows what that means for Pikmin 3 Deluxe, but I'm really excited for this, guys. Anyways, now back to the mysterious villain. So we're gonna go over, like I said, the most popular theories that people are talking about online, and I asked you guys on Twitter what you want to see this video be about. This is what you guys picked, so we will go over them. The first one is Aghanim. So in A Link to the Past, Aghanim was basically, I guess the easiest way to explain it is a form of Ganon who Ganon used to get undercover and basically used to set his plan in motion. Aghanim is just the person who like kidnapped the sages and stuff, so he was like an alter ego of Ganon who Ganon used to reach his goals. And this new character we see in Age of Calamity doesn't really look all that much like Aghanim. I guess they're both cloaked figures, you can see pictures here, but there's the similarities, there's not that many to be honest. So this one, Aghanim's purpose being like an alter ego of Ganon to do his bidding, I think that has a pretty high possibility of being this new villain's purpose, but I don't think that we will see this character, this new villain, called Aghanim. That's not something that Zelda really does. Most villains only really appear once, with the exception of Ganondorf, so, we got Vati, who we'll talk about more later, we'll do him next. Vati appears in the Four Swords games and Minish Cap, so people are saying that this could be Vati, this new villain, but similarities kind of end once you take away, the cloak and the head jewelry. That's really all Vati has going for it, and this one is pretty unlikely because Vati, as far as we know, has only existed as, he was a Minish too, which I mean the only connection that has to Breath of the Wild is that there was the concept art where there was going to be small people in Breath of the Wild, but Vati is kind of like a one and done situation. Well, not technically because he was resurrected in multiple Four Swords games after Minish Cap, but he's stayed to that series, and I just don't think it's likely. I don't know how they would talk about how this is Vaati unless it's just, sharing the name and it's not the actual same Vaati, so I really don't think that this new mysterious villain character is Vaati. So that's Vaati crossed off the list. Next up, we have Yuga. So Yuga was the villain from A Link Between Worlds, who was essentially Hyrule's counterpart to Ganon and Ganondorf. So Yuga attacked with a paintbrush and could turn people into paintings. The similarities with the mysterious villain and Yuga are like the complexion, the makeup and stuff. I guess the hair is kind of similar other than in color, like, going off of just texture. That's it. Again, not really. I don't think this is Yuga. I would be very surprised if it was. Yuga has only shown up once in A Link Between Worlds outside of spin-off games. So I really don't see how this could be Yuga, and Yuga is from Hyrule, and we've only ever seen one instance of Hyrule, so there would have to be some interesting way of Yuga escaping and being in Breath of the Wild timeline, wherever that may be. So all in all, I just don't think Yuga's that likely. Yuga was from Hyrule, and he had his whole storyline and arc, and that seems to be it. That seems to be what Zelda team wants to do with him. So I don't really think that it's Yuga, and that is that. So next up, we have Twinrova. So Twinrova, or Kume and Kutake, are basically the surrogate mothers of Ganondorf. So they showed up a few times. Their most notable appearance is definitely in Ocarina of Time. So basically, they can combine and become Twinrova. So Kume and Kutake become Twinrova. So assuming that the mysterious villain was Twinrova, that would mean it's probably two people, but we're just seeing the combined form. And what this theory has going for it is the connection to the Gerudo. So as we can see, the mysterious villain has the Gerudo symbol on their cloak. So going off of that does add a little bit of credence to the Twinrova theory, because Twinrova, the sisters, were both Gerudo, and that doesn't really, being a woman doesn't really retcon the whole, Ganondorf and, there's only one male thing. So that is kind of likely. I mean, I would be a little bit surprised to see Twinrova return. I mean, I don't think it's the most likely, but it is definitely above, Yuga and Vaati and stuff. I really don't have much else to say about that. I mean, it could happen, definitely. Twinrova, I don't know. I mean, I don't mind that, honestly. I think it'd be pretty cool, but I do think there's a few more that are a bit more likely. So next up, I guess before we get into those, we have Kiraham. So Kiraham is basically the spirits of Demise's sword in Skyward Sword. So he's only appeared once, all the way at the beginning of the timeline, alongside Fi, however you want to say it, who was the spirits of the Master Sword. We haven't seen either of these two appear outside of Skyward Sword, because both of them are supposed to kind of be bound to their blades now. Kiraham might even be dead. It's kind of complicated. I don't think this one's very likely, because Kiraham should be in some way or another gone, dead. Maybe he still exists within some form of Demise's sword, but he should not be able to get out. So that's that. I don't see how this could be Kiraham unless it was, like, again, this is just someone taking the name Kiraham as the mysterious villain, but Kiraham is not extremely likely. So yeah, the only thing that really adds credence to this theory is that we can hear Fi speaking to Zelda after Link has been nearly killed by the Guardians in one of Final Memories in Breath of the Wild. So that's all it has, but then again, Zelda might just be able to hear the voice of Fi, the spirit of the sword, and that might have nothing to do with Kiraham, and it probably doesn't. So that is all for that one. Now, moving on from that, we are at our last two, which I believe are the most likely. So we'll talk about the Fortune Teller. This one I think is pretty likely. The fortune teller in Breath of the Wild is mentioned in-game. It's the only one of all of these villains that is specifically mentioned in-game through Zelda and the King's Diary. So we know the fortune teller did exist, and they should have existed during the time that Age of Calamity set 100 years ago. So this one is pretty likely. Basically, the fortune teller told the prophecy that Calamity Ganon was going to come again, and the secret to defeating it lied under the ground in the form of the guardians and divine beasts. So the interesting thing there is the fortune teller, this is heavily theorized in the Zelda community, could have been actually evil and working with the Yiga or Ganondorf, if they knew Ganondorf's body's whereabouts, and Calamity Ganon to set things in motion for Calamity Ganon's ability to take over the Sheikah technology. So I like this one, and I hope this is it. I really want it to be the fortune teller, and I think this is really likely just because we know they existed. This is what I would pull from if I was making a prequel game to Breath of the Wild. And you can see that this mysterious villain is holding what looks to be a floating ancient core. Now, aside from the fact that a fortune teller usually does have some sort of a floating ball in various media, that adds a little bit to it, to be honest, but this looks like an ancient core from a guardian. Basically, like, think like a Heart of a Guardian powers a guardian, it's Sheikah technology. So this new villain here, the mysterious villain, would have a corrupted core before the Calamity struck, if that's what this is, and I think that's what it is. You can see it's glowing red with malice and not the normal blue glow. So for this person to have a corrupted core, they would need to know about the abilities Calamity Ganon possessed to possess things. So maybe this orb is how the fortune teller communicated with Ganon, Ganondorf, Calamity Ganon, whatever you want to say, and that is how they learned to set this technology possession scheme into motion. And this one is really cool because there's a lot of evidence for it. I just really like this theory, and you know, I think that it is the most likely, to be honest, if it's not this next one. So this next and final one here is it's just a new original villain. So either way, they're going to be connected to the Calamity, whether that be the fortune teller or not. It is probably going to be a new villain. It's probably not going to be anyone with the same name from the past villains in the Zelda series, so probably not going to be called, you know, Kiraham, Twinrova, even Vati, Yuga, none of those. It might just have a new original name and just be someone who worked in under the Yiga or led them behind the scenes and worked for Calamity Ganon with no specific background in the Zelda series. So it might just be an original villain created for this game, or it's the fortune teller. Those are the two that I'd go with. It's either fortune teller or an original villain. But yeah, those are all the theories for the mysterious villain. And that's all for this one, guys. So stay tuned. If there is a Hyrule Warriors demo, I will be playing that. You can count on that, and I'll let you guys know more about that. We're getting really close to release, which is super exciting, and I cannot wait to play this game. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and like if you want to see more Zelda content. Follow me on my Twitter, and you can choose what videos I make next and interact with me a bit more. So once again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.